Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Graniterock's 7th Product Knowledge Seminar. My name is Jackie Serrano, and I will be your host today. For today's seminar, we have a very special guest who is an expert in the world of natural stone. We hope you are all as excited and ready to learn as we are. For everyone's information, we will be recording this session in order to grant replay access to those who are unable to join our live event today. With that being said, I want to remind you all about the amazing features available to you through our Product Knowledge Seminar dashboard. From the dashboard, you are able to replay all the past sessions at your convenience. You can take our surveys to help us improve, and in exchange for your feedback, score some free Graniterock gear. You can also access relevant documents that will enhance your professional development. Before we get started, we ask everyone to please keep yourselves muted and camera off. The chat is open, so we encourage questions or comments throughout the meeting. If you happen to have a question, please add it to the chat section and we will try to answer them as soon as possible. I would now like to introduce our expert guest speaker, Steve Bosco. Steve is responsible for the Western U.S. sales for Beuchel Stone. With 15 years in the stone world, Steve interacts daily with company dealers and the entire design/build community on the West Coast. Steve has overseen projects from small fireplace remodels to entire estates crafted in stone. Beuchel Stone is a family-owned and operated natural stone quarrier fabricator in their third generation of ownership. Founded in 1964, Beuchel Stone owns and operates quarries and fabrication facilities in Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Kansas, one of the largest and most respected natural stone quarries in the U.S. Beuchel Stone prides itself in giving customers the best experience and in the natural stone industry, guaranteed. I will now hand it over to Steve so he can tell you a little more about Beuchel Stone and the world of stone itself. Steve, you're muted.
Hello, here we go. Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Bosco with Beuchel Stone, and thank you so much for joining us for today's presentation. And once again, thank you to Graniterock and Jackie and Keith for putting these seminars on. And I think it's a very valuable resource, you know, especially in the times that we're in these days where so many people are working remotely. So if I can get this thing figured out, I'm going to try to share my screen. And I think we should be good to go. Okay, so a little bit more about me is that I've been, as Jackie said, I've been in the stone industry for about 15 years. I actually got my start right there with Graniterock. When Graniterock had their design center in Cupertino, I was one of the account managers for Graniterock back in 2005 through, say, 2012 or so. And then other opportunities presented themselves, and then I started with Beuchel Stone Corporation. So, you know, we've done plenty of high-end projects, whether that be commercial or residential, both in all throughout the United States. And we've done a lot of very high-end special homes right there along the Monterey Peninsula with Graniterock. So if you're ever driving through the Monterey Peninsula or on 17 Mile Drive, there's a good chance that most of the houses that you're driving by have Beuchel Stone on them. So Beuchel Stone, we've been a family-owned and operated business since 1964. We're now in our third generation of ownership. So our mission's basically to provide the best, most dependable experience in the natural stone industry, guaranteed. And we really try to live up to that value. We really put a lot of concentration on all of our team members, as a lot of you, I'm sure, are aware that, you know, without your team members, without people, you know, producing and doing the things that they have to do on a day-to-day basis, your customers, your business, everything is gonna not live up to its potential. So we really put a lot of focus on our team members. So since 1964, that's when we started. And once again, it's a family-owned and operated business with our third generation of ownership. As Jackie said earlier, we have locations in Wisconsin. That's our corporate office. And then with newer locations in North Carolina and in Kansas. And then we also have, we own and operate 4 different showrooms across the United States, with the closest one out west here being in San Francisco at the San Francisco Design Center. So as I was saying earlier, our people are our biggest assets. And I think, the companies that take that, the businesses that take that, into account, really show in their, in their people's, their whole journey throughout their life with that particular company. We have about 200 employees. Our average span or average journey for each person is about 10 years, with many people above 25 years of service to the company. So you can see here just different to reward our employees, and that's important because the company culture with the ownership mentality that our ownership group gives to our employees, employees take a tremendous amount of pride in each individual project, and whether that be your project or your customer's project, knowing that very skilled craftsmen and journeymen are working on your project just as if it was their own. So with the natural stone industry, everything is quarried. So everything, there's nothing man-made about our products. So from the extraction to, getting the material into the production shops, people's hands are touching it in every aspect of every different type of the production line. So there's a lot of skilled craftsmen that go into producing all of our different stones. And once again, with the ownership mentality, knowing that we take every order as if it was our own, you can really count on Beuchel Stone really going the extra mile to make sure that your project is going to be exactly the way that you intended it to be. We have a little video here we're going to show, just kind of not a whole lot of people have actually had the opportunity to experience a quarry. Graniterock obviously has, a very big quarry there in Aromas, the Wilson quarry. That's their salt and pepper granite quarry that basically is for road aggregates and things like that. Our quarries are a little bit different. They're meant for building stone, and you can see some of the ways that we extract stone from one of our quarries in Chilton, Wisconsin.
We stop him. Hey, Steve.
Yes.
We're not getting the audio. Beautiful pictures, by the way. We're not getting the audio. So if you want to unshare and go straight back to the video start, and then go ahead and be sure you hit that toggle when you share the video again.
Dimensional stone starts geologically with Mother Earth. Millions of At Beuchel Stone, we live by our mission of providing the best, most dependable experience in the natural stone industry, guaranteed. And to start at the very beginning of the best, we're mindful of the fact that long before its beautiful showcase on the architectural projects of today, the lengthy lifespan of dimensional stone starts geologically with Mother Earth. Millions of years before Beuchel Stone was even a thought, natural stone was being produced by Mother Nature. While working with the maker of this beautiful raw material, we're doing whatever she allows in order to provide our customers with only the highest quality dimensional stone. But as with anything precious, true worth is found beneath the surface. All of our natural stone products come from somewhere pure, authentic, and real. So we're proud to start your journey of our processes with an introduction to the place where it all began for us and our stone, our quarries. At Beuchel Stone, we incorporate green thinking into everything that we do. That's why before a quarry is even proposed, we're protecting nature's design with quarry site plans that emphasize sustainability, resource efficiency, and long-term environmental advocacy. Once the proper site plan is established, operations can begin by removing any dirt or rock that overlies the stone. The topsoil and overburdened material is safe for placement into a where it is covered, seeded, and stored until implementing the final reclamation plan. Once the stone is exposed, the material is removed from the quarry in benches, with the top bedding plane revealed. Cracks and seams running along the surface of the stone are used as indicators of existing fractures through underlying layers. A large amount of stone used for building and landscaping is formed in layers. These layers were created over millions of years in sediment beds. The natural top or bottom of the stone is called the stone's bed face. This term comes from the natural bed. Horizontal plane of the stone while forming. Natural cleft describes the natural thickness of the bed, which typically varies from layer to layer. There are two natural faces that can occur along the vertical planes of layered stone. A natural split occurs where the stone breaks in the quarry at a location where there isn't a natural seam. Weather edge, which is sometimes referred to as rustic, occurs where a natural vertical seam in the quarry has been eroded and minerals are on the face. Variations in the depth and intensity of colors and textures are also signatures of each stone's unique creation story. These beautiful aesthetic distinctions allow us to combine stone in limited ways to create product blends unique to us and our quarries. And here's where the process of stone removal gets even more interesting. In preparation for a selective, sophisticated blast, drill holes are placed along the perimeter of the bench behind the natural seams. The distance between the holes depends on the variations and physical properties of the stone at the location of the intended break. Although we employ the use of high-grade explosives, typical blasting is not of Hollywood proportions. The drill holes are calculated to accommodate a light explosive charge, just enough to help separate the layers and loosen the stone for manageable removal with the use of heavy equipment. Now that the layers have been loosened, front-end loaders use forks to pry up between the layers and separate the stone. Stone slabs are extracted from the top down and then sorted and stacked on pallets according to general criteria, such as size, thickness, and color. Material that is thinly layered is hand-stacked on pallets. It's best for the pieces to remain as large as possible throughout the removal process, so the stone can be used for its best potential. After all, we take significant pride in providing a full range of natural colors and textures that can be combined in infinite ways to achieve nearly any design, whether it be for building stone, cut stone, or landscape stone applications. Even with state-of-the-art production equipment, our technologically advanced specifying and design tools, the most detailed CAD shop drawings, and unparalleled service, the story of Beuchel Stone's exceptional selection of natural stone starts with a quarry.
So that was just one of our quarries in Chilton, Wisconsin. Like I said earlier, we own and operate 14 different quarries throughout the U.S. in Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Kansas. And that's just one of the different types of quarries that we do operate. But with natural stone, there's a lot of green building attributes that go along with natural stone. It really fits in with a holistic framework. Natural stone can be a very green product. The product life cycle, depending on, how the material is being quarried, from the types of explosives to the recycling of the unused stone into gravel, recycling of water, the reclamation efforts towards the end of a quarry's life cycle. It can be a very green building product. And Beuchel Stone is very environmentally conscious, and it's a big part of who we are. So you can see here in the picture, this is a quarry that we have mined out all of the natural stone of, and we're just using the fill of the material to repurpose this into farmland once again. So we treat the environment very, very the way that it needs to be treated for the reclamation process. And then, as you saw in the video, much of the quarries that we work with, the stone is formed over millions of years. We figure that the quarry that you were just watching that video of is about 80 million years old. So over millions of years, lots of sedimentary formation helps create the layers in the quarry. And then, so what we try to do is we try to strive to use as much of the stone as its purpose for using in building stone. If we can use all of the different faces of the stone, that provides our customers much more value, much more product than if we were just to use certain parts of the stone. So each stone basically has 3 different faces, and we try to use all 3 faces of the stone to create different product lines, get more selection criteria for our customers. And we are also a full service natural stone quarry. So it's not just building stone veneer, whether that be full veneer, thin veneer, but we also do lots of landscape stone and lots of architecturally cut stone. And we'll see some pictures of some of those coming up. So most of what we're known for is our full and thin veneer. About 20 years ago, there was no such thing as thin veneer natural stone. So basically what had happened is there's been some cutting edge technology and inventions. People were able to take a full veneer piece of stone and basically saw the face off of it to create a thin veneer stone. And that's really opened up the business of natural stone, not only to masons and landscapers, but it's really made it a lot easier for homeowners to use natural stone in their products as well. Basically, the biggest difference is, full veneer is weighing about 55 pounds per square foot, where thin veneer is less than 15 pounds per square foot. So it's easier to install, it ships easier, and people are more familiar with it with all of the advent of the manufactured stone, coming into play. People are now seeing that, over the last 20 years, natural stone can be used the same way as a manufactured type of a stone. And then within all of our products, we have different types of product lines, from the ashlar, castle rock, dimensional, field ledge, ledge stone, mosaic, field ledge, and tailored ledge stone. So we basically have 8 different products within each of our different stone categories. So the full veneer is still the gold standard when it comes to masonry, and believe it or not, there's still quite a bit of full veneer stone that is used. We've actually just completed a few projects in the Pebble Beach area that have used full recently. The biggest difference, once again, is the weight and the size of the stone. Full veneer stone is generally 3 to 5 inches in depth. It does require some kind of footing or foundation for installation. So generally you'll see a concrete ledge at the bottom of the wall to hold the weight of the stone, and it needs to be mechanically tied back to the structure. So there has to be some kind of wall tie that ties the actual stone back to the structure, once again, just to help to support the weight. The big part of differences between full veneer and thin veneer is full veneer, when it comes to shipping, you got to figure that there's not a whole lot of quarries in California that are shipping building stone. There are a few, but most of them are going to be shipped, and that needs to be, you know, shipped either via a truck or via rail container. And for full veneer, you're only getting about 900 square feet per truckload, whereas thin veneer, you're getting close to about 3,200 square feet per truckload. So you're keeping less trucks off of the roadways with thin veneer as well. This is a picture of a project we did out in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. This was a cheese factory in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, all full veneer stone. So we have about 2,000 tons of full veneer stone on this. This is a mixture of our Fond du Lac and Mill Creek material. This was specified through Gensler Architects in Houston, Texas. So we do have a wide reach nationwide through architects and designers all throughout the country. And we have salespeople throughout everywhere in the country. So we do have a wide reach, and we're able to, you know, use architects and design firms throughout the country for projects just about anywhere throughout North America. When it comes to thin veneer, once again, it's still a natural product. It's still 100% natural stone. Generally, the depth of the stone is 3/4 of an inch to 1.25 inches. No footing is required. And it's basically, you know, you hear the term a lot, lick and stick. So you basically just apply the mortar to the back of the stone and stick it onto the prepared wall. It's, once again, very economical for shipping. You're getting about 3,200 square feet per truckload. It does not require any kind of mechanical fasteners or ledge. So it goes up just basically the same way that you see a lot of the manufactured stones go up as well. There's just some different thin veneer, you know, pictures here. And once again, thin veneer for natural stone has been in the market for about 20 years, but when they first came out with the thin veneer saw, they had no way to replicate a wrapping of a corner. And you can see on some of the pictures here where you see a 90-degree corner. And basically what you're trying to do with the 90-degree corner is replicate the full bed depth of the stone. So a 3 to 5 inch return wrapping a corner is going to replicate what full bed depth stone will be. And so about 5 years after they invented the thin veneer saw, they came out with a thin veneer corner saw. So you're able to create a 90-degree corner out of a thin veneer to replicate full veneer installations with a thin veneer application as a 90-degree corner. So a lot of times you won't even be able to tell the difference if somebody has used full veneer or thin veneer just by, you know, looking at the corners. Several projects that, you know, we can see, you know, around the Monterey area that it would be very difficult to tell if it was full veneer or thin veneer without actually getting right up close to it and, you know, trying to examine to see what it was. Then we get into our landscape stone. The great thing about using natural stone as well, so, you know, the big thing these days, and I think for the past couple of years, is, you know, trying to bring the outdoor environment inside or bringing the inside environment outside. And to be able to do that with natural stone is relatively easy, where with a manufactured product, you know, you're going to have different types of components, whether, you know, a manufactured piece of concrete versus a piece of porcelain or something like that, where they're not all the same types of material. With natural stone, you can take the outside and bring it to the inside, or bring the inside to the outside relatively easy using the same types of products, same types of natural stone, whether that be boulders or wall stone or any kind of steps or patio paving and things like that. So just some different images of some landscape projects. You know, whether it be the paving on the picture on the left-hand side, there's, you know, lots of different options for natural stone paving, through the wall stone or creating retaining walls of the picture in the middle, to doing steps and terraces. Anything is available with natural stone. And I think, as we all know, if you've ever had an opportunity to travel through, you know, Europe or some of the older places around the world, you know, natural stone was the original building product. So if you're traveling around Europe, you know, you go to the Colosseum. Colosseum's basically 2,000 years old, you know, made 100% of, you know, natural stone. Unfortunately, for the Colosseum, the stone had been pilfered and stolen to create other different buildings in Rome. So the Colosseum going through a major undertaking of a remodel and cleaning. It's going to be about a 20-year process.
Hey, Steve, if I
Yes.
could jump in for just a minute and take you back just briefly. As a reintroduction, we've got Steve Bosco with us as our special guest today with Beuchel Stone. He's a natural stone expert. And if you guys out there have any questions that you would like to ask Steve, just put them in the chat and we will jump in and ask. Back to the thin veneer versus full depth. Steve, what's the market blend now? What percentage are you using thin veneer? Is it 50-50 or are people like 90% thin veneer these days?
That's a great question, and I think it's probably more geographical focus than anything. It's weird because like the Texas market is still a lot of full veneer. The Wisconsin, Chicago market is still a lot of full veneer. I would say in California, you're probably 80% thin veneer, 20% 20% full veneer. It's weird. One of the jobs we did recently in Pebble Beach, we specifically asked the architect how to use full veneer as opposed to using a thin veneer where you could have got the same exact look and the installation would have probably been a little bit less than using full veneer. And he said the client wanted full veneer stone. He wanted it to look like an old castle. And I guess when we're talking the economics of it, the price per square foot of the material is probably going to work out to be about the same. You're going to pay a little bit more in the freight for the full veneer, but the installation is, generally what we tell people, installation of stone is probably 3 to 4 times the cost of the material. So installation of full veneer is quite a bit more expensive than thin veneer. As you can imagine, each piece of stone of full veneer can weigh as much as 80 to 90 pounds, where piece of thin veneer is, might weigh 8 to 9 pounds. So the cost of the installation is probably the most determinant factor of whether full veneer or thin veneer would be used.
Thanks, great answer.
So then when we get into the cut stone is an often overlooked product. So when we're speaking to our dealer partners out there, companies such as Graniterock, and they're asking us for quotes on veneer stone and things like that. Generally, larger size projects are going to have some kind of element of a cut stone, and the cut stone really completes the project. So when we're looking at projects, we really want to try to get the whole project instead of just the veneer stone. So you can see in this particular project, the one here on the right where you have the balusters and the rail system, there's really not a whole lot of veneer stone there, but these cut stone attributes really tie in and really make the whole picture, the whole project become like a complete, well thought out project. And there's lots of different things that you can do with cut stone, from your swimming pool coping to your paving to your balusters and rails to your window sills to your window surrounds. There's lots of things that can be done with the cut stone. It's a different process. There's lots of things that are available with cut stone. So with Beuchel Stone, we actually have a couple of very high technologically proven 6-axis saws that can basically create whatever you can kind of design. So if you wanted to create a bathtub, we could create a bathtub. If you wanted to create a pot, we could create a pot. So you can see these balusters or the corbels there on the upper right-hand picture. There's really nothing that the technology doesn't allow us to create out of natural stone. And this will kind of show, this video here will kind of show you a little bit about some of the natural stone cut stone architectural pieces. This building here, this is where we create all of our cut stone. This is about a 25,000 square foot steel building with all of our high performance saws in it.
Beuchel Stone's commitment to industry leading expertise, unparalleled service, and an exceptional selection of natural stone extends well beyond quarry boundaries and show. We set out to make our customer experiences surprisingly easy and exciting every step of the way, from the set of inspiration until each ornament detail is fulfilled. The true brilliance of any great accomplishment isn't realized without attention to the fine points, so it's unfortunate that architectural stone details are too often an afterthought. Sills, wall caps, coping, archways, keystones, door and window surrounds, balusters and columns, fireplace surrounds, hearths and mantels. These are just a few of the most typical standard and custom cut stone options for elevating natural stone projects to distinguished works of art. Because some of the most important decisions are made in the beginning of the design process, Beuchel Stone offers assistance with the front-end details starting in the early planning stages. And when it comes to fabrication, we have the knowledge, service, and state-of-the-art production capabilities to produce an extraordinary variety of gorgeous cut stone options, all executed according to their project specifications. Once a client's vision is conceptualized in a drawing, our estimating department analyzes the plans and reviews the three-part specifications. The outcome of their efforts is a detailed, quantified list of specific materials, to as a material takeoff. This information is used to generate intricate piece-by-piece shop drawings for on-site review by the mason, general contractor, or architect. Once the CAD shop drawings are signed and approved, order processing begins. Regardless of the material types and colors selected, Beuchel Stone starts the fabrication process using solid blocks of high-quality natural stone. We kick off the workflow by sawing these massive blocks into slabs of the exact thicknesses required. The slabs are cut to size and shape in strict compliance to their fabrication tolerances. Diamond blades, wire saws, routers, CNC technology, lathes, muscle, sweat, a keen eye, and accomplished skill set. This is a small sampling of the ever-increasing list of resources at the hands of our cut stone fabrication team. Important criterion is surface finish. If the intention is to showcase the raw beauty of a naturally occurring texture, the face of the stone can be left untouched. However, the surface texture of cut stone is often enhanced for aesthetic or functional purposes. Sawing, honing, sanding, sandblasting, brushing, thermaling, bush hammering, rock facing, or any number of surface finishes are applied using whatever means necessary. Whether the project calls for programmable, high-quality precision or the touch of an artisan, Beuchel Stone has the technological means and expertise to optimize the process and achieve the required surface finish. Our dedication to high-quality workmanship is resolute, and that doesn't end with fabrication. We invest the time and care needed to ensure that each piece is properly packaged for shipment to the project site, whether for cut stone, stone, or landscape stone applications. At Beuchel Stone, we live by our mission to provide the best, most dependable experience in the natural.
Yeah, so that's a little bit about some of our cut stone capabilities. And once again, it really ties the whole project together when the whole project is thought out using cut stone with the veneer stone to add those architectural elements that really bring the whole project together. With Beuchel Stone, we put a lot of time, resources, and money into our digital experience. I would say our website and our digital platform, along with our social marketing, is probably one of the leading benefits of Beuchel Stone. I think we're probably the leading natural stone quarrier when it comes to the resources on our website, our social media and marketing for different products. So there's a lot of things that can help you with trying to find the perfect stone or the perfect look that you're going for. We have what's known as our brag book on our website that has thousands of high definition images categorized in all different types of categories. If you're just looking for a fireplace, or if you're just looking for a water feature, or a commercial project or a hospital, they're all characterized by different types of stone projects that we have completed, and gives you a lot of different things to look at on our website. And then when it comes to the technology and the resources, we've really put a lot of effort working with the design and architectural community. All of our products are available through SketchUp, Revit, or Chief Architect in their stone libraries. So when it comes to making 3D renderings for a soon-to-be built project, architects and designers have the ability to go onto our website, find the seamless hatch pattern that they're looking for to create a 3D rendering for their owner to get, the idea of what the stone could actually look like on the building, as opposed to, a construction drawing with squiggly lines, dictating this is where veneer is going to go. It's a very, very good tool that we offer that, people take us up all the time. And the difference between the success rate of, actually being approved on a stone job from having a 3D dimensional drawing with our actual stone rendered on it, as opposed to just a construction drawing, your percentages really, really go through the roof in closing that deal when we can actually show a completed 3D rendering. And some more resources that we offer the design community. Concora is just a great tool that we offer. It's basically a one-stop shop for a construction. So you can actually find all of the material that you want on the Concora website through Beuchel Stone. You can save everything that you've actually researched. You can write your submittals. You can find all of your tech data, and you can save it all into one simple place. And then you can give access to that link to anybody working on the project. So you can basically save all of the project information to that one website, and it just makes it easier going on the road.
Hey, Steve.
And then yes.
Can you give us a little bit more on the 3-part specs?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've heard it referenced a couple times, and it's up here on your resource.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, we have a slide coming up on the 3-part specs. So the 3-part specs basically, when architects or designers are trying to specify a certain project or a certain product, we actually have a 3-part spec for every single one of our products on our website. And instead of the architect or the designer having to go into and creating their own spec, we actually already have it written out for them in a Microsoft Word document that they can cut and paste into their construction documents. And basically what the 3-part spec is, they're just looking for, what's the name of the material, the specifications on sizing and colors and things like that, and then it all lists that into the 3-part spec. So instead of the architect doing the research and then maybe missing out on something, ours is ready to go for them to cut and paste and just slide straight into their construction documents. Just another service that we offer that makes it real easy for them to specify the product. Another thing that we do for the design community is our sampling system. There's a company out there called Material Bank that it's really revolutionized the building material sample world. So architects or designers are able to go onto the Material Bank website and order a sample. If they order a sample by 10 o'clock or 9:30 at night, they'll have the sample in their office at 10:30 the next morning. There's no cost to the designer or architect for that. All of the suppliers are paying the fees for that. But with over the last 5 years, architects and designers, their libraries have basically become non-existent. So, for the architect and designer not having to store a bunch of samples, this is a really revolutionary idea. And Beuchel Stone was the first natural stone company to jump on this Material Bank sampling program. These are just some of the different items we offer in SketchUp and our 3D library. So you can see the different hatch patterns that you see here. So if an architect wanted to create a rendering like you see right-hand corner, they would have to do is pick out the certain stone that they were looking for, Beuchel stone, click on that, and then they can just paste that onto their construction documents, and you actually get a 3D drawing where you can actually see what the material could possibly look like on that project. So just seamless textures, and this is where the hatch patterns are made from as well. So these are mock-ups that we've had to make for each one of our products. Each of these mock-ups are about 8 feet by 8 feet, so there's no repeating patterns. And then we had to take high-resolution pictures. So doing the renderings, this is the look that they're going to get on their renderings. So here's the 3-part spec that you were speaking of earlier, Keith. So whether it be full veneer, thin veneer, and then we also work with a company called Latacrete that actually has a very good product or a mortar type of a product. And then once again, all this is available through our website. And instead of the architect or designer having to create their own, all they need to do is cut and paste this into the construction documents. And some of these 3-part specs, some of them, they could be 15, 20 pages long. So, we're saving the architect or designer valuable time by not having to, type everything out. They can just cut and paste this into their construction documents. Each one of our products, we actually have all of our products tested through ASTM, and products will have the ASTM specs, whether it be full veneer, landscape stone, or thin veneer. And you can see the bottom there, it has the ASTM testing data. The one thing about some of our stone, actually most of our stone out of Wisconsin and North Carolina, it's very, very hard, very, very durable. So, when we're talking about manufactured products or even concrete for that matter, concrete, the PSI value for some concrete, say roughly 6,000 PSI. Concrete pavers, maybe 8,000 PSI. A brick, maybe 12 to 13,000 PSI. Some of our stone out of Wisconsin and North Carolina is upwards of 60,000 PSI. So very, very hard stone, very, very durable. And the advantage of that is you don't have to worry about anything happening to it over a course of time. Once again, our stone, we figure our stone somewhere between 60 to 80 million years old. So we don't necessarily have to worry about, in our lifetimes, something affecting the stone in a negative process. Once again, you'll find on our website all the different types of installation details, whether you need to have waterproofing, whether you want to take the stone down to grade. One of my big pet peeves, that you see it all the time, and I think it's one of the factors is because it's manufactured stone detail, is when somebody is putting stone on a wall or stone on a column, you see it lifted off of the concrete or off of the foundation some 6 to 8 inches. And that's to prevent water from seeping up through the stone. But we actually have details with our natural stone products where you can actually take the stone all the way to grade without having any ill effects of water intrusion into your system. And to me, when you see that floating stone, whether it be natural stone or manufactured stone, it just looks like it's incomplete. It's something that you definitely would not in nature. And then we have the whole thing on installation instructions as well. So whether the mason or the general contractor or the homeowner needs something, that we kind of go, step by step on, the different types of installation processes, just to try to make it as easy as possible. Once again, with our products, with masonry products, masonry is definitely a craft. It's an art form. It's not a science. There's nothing that you can do to replicate a quality mason, being able to dress the stone, being able to install the stone in a way that's going to look as natural as possible. And fortunately, on the Monterey Peninsula, even throughout the greater Bay Area, a high skilled masonry craftsmen in the area. And, there's obviously a cost to that, but still there's a huge difference in what you see in a thorough installation as opposed to somebody that may not be quite as well adept at installing natural stone. It's definitely worth the money to pay for the expertise. We do a full thing on cleaning and maintenance. There's all kinds of information like that on our website as well. More things for our architectural binders for our architectural colleagues. You can download our catalogs. I think one thing that Beuchel Stone is doing is, catalogs are quite costly, and there's, everything is online now. So we just did our 2020 catalog last year, 2020 catalog last year that is still going strong for 2021. But I think moving forward, you'll probably see a lot of things just being more digital now, just to save save all the paper and save all the expense of printing catalogs. Then we also offer continuing education courses for architects and designers. We have 3 different programs on full veneer, thin veneer, and landscape stone. Those can be done remotely, or those can be done in an office. And then when we get to sampling and things like that, so our standard sample boards are 13-inch by 13-inch sample boards. And everything is color coded with a QR code as well. So that QR code will take you directly to our website for the spec of that particular product. All we're trying to do with our samples, our standard samples, is show color and texture. Obviously, we can't show the sizes of some of the pieces of the stone, but if people need to see color and texture, our sample boards are a perfect resource for that. So the girl here on the left, her name is Stephanie. She's been with Beuchel Stone for about 22 years. She creates most of all of our samples. So she sees our stone more than anybody in the whole company. So whenever there's a question about, what can we do, or what is this product, Stephanie sees the stone so much on a regular daily basis that she's probably one of the industry experts when it comes to stone, not just from our company, but from companies all around the world. She's basically seen it all. She's traveled all throughout the US to all the different quarries. So she knows what she's doing, and she's a really great asset to have on our team, where, she can kind of tell you exactly what the stone is, where it comes from. And, it's just a great resource to have. One thing that Beuchel Stone also offers is, for significant jobs, I'd say jobs of 1,000 square feet and up, we offer the ability to have mock-ups sent out. And mock-ups are super important, especially when you're dealing with natural stone. You can see the pictures on the left. It's the same exact stone, except for the picture on the top is more in a ashlar format, where the picture on the bottom is a coarse format. So it makes the stone look totally different. And so with mock-ups, you're going to want to show different applications of installation, different grout joints, different mortar joints, if there is going to be a mortar joint. We offer this up to 16 square feet of free material, so they can do these mock-ups on site. And it really helps, tie the whole program together. And then, it's really important that that mock-up stays on site throughout the duration of the construction. So, people know what to expect. They know what's been approved for the mock-up, how it's supposed to be installed. A lot of times we'll see that the mock-up gets taken away, and then when they start installing the stone, it doesn't look exactly like the mock-up did, and then that's when we start to have issues. Just another little video here on the differences between kind of natural stone and Beuchel Stone versus our competition. Oops.
This is Beuchel Stone, and this is not. Not much is different, except ours is quarry born, so we get to do this, and this, and let's not forget about this, which means each piece is as one of a kind as this guy, and him, and let's not forget about him. Aw, he looks happy. And then there's different applications, like this, or this. So you can install using this, or a thinner version like this. And the colors and textures look like this. There's a bunch of different kinds. They're awesome. Real stone is tech savvy and green. Recycled packaging green. 126 million recycled gallons of water green. Now that's green. Theirs is made from this, with colors like, and they only have thin. So yeah, not much different at all. The only thing different is everything.
So another thing that is really important that we do, we have quality control checks at every aspect during production as well. So every order that we send out will have a tag on it. You can see the bottom picture, it'll have a tag on it, and then it'll have a QR code on there as well. And that tells you when it was produced, what shift it was produced, who the foreman was on that day. And then so if there ever is an issue, we can always go back and check to see, was there a problem? And we really take that very seriously. We do lots of control checks throughout the week. And the biggest part, I think, of Beuchel Stone is just, we have a shared vision with our customers. It's not uncommon for me to be on a conference call with an architect and a designer, a home contractor, the mason, or a site meeting with all those people involved 2 or 3 times a week, just making sure that everyone's on the same page and that we're actually sharing the vision. We're able to tell them what the possibilities are, whether it needs to be value engineered, we can do this way for this much, or maybe look at it a different way. So once again, the architects, the designers, the homeowners especially, they possibly can't know everything. So having somebody from the actual quarry actually on site, being able to, share their vision and let them know what some of the possibilities or, what some of the concerns might be, it really advances the project along. And I think it's a really good selling point for a lot of our customers to have somebody local in the market to, just kind of reassure the people of what the possibilities could be. Once again, we have a dynamic sales staff all throughout North America, so we can handle projects all throughout North America. And then, as I said in the beginning, we had just opened recently some showrooms. So the one in the upper left is our Chicago Design Center in the Merchandise Mart. I think it's one of the largest buildings in the world in Chicago. The upper right corner is our Kohler showroom, where the Ryder Cup will be this year at Whistling Straits in Kohler, Wisconsin. The bottom right is our new San Francisco showroom. So we have about 85 displays in our San Francisco showroom, and that's manned by a person working there named Crystal. She's there Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, helping with all the different people that come in to have questions about their projects. So you can see that's kind of our North American footprint. And that's kind of what we have today. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer some questions. And if Keith or Jessica have been monitoring that, I'd be happy to ask. If not, once again, thank you so much for joining us today.
That was awesome, Steve. Thank you. Thank you so much. And so again, folks, if you guys out there have any questions, put them in the chat or raise your hand and we'll call on you. I've got a couple of things, Steve. One, you slipped in there a couple of personal notes. I know you've got a great interest in Italy. When do you get to go again? And what's your favorite thing to do in Italy?
So we've actually had to reschedule our most current trip twice now because of everything that's been happening. We were actually supposed to go in March of 2020. So obviously that didn't happen. And then we were supposed, we didn't know obviously how long everything was going to happen. So our March of 2020 turned into September of 2020, and now it's indefinitely on hold. But my wife's actually from Liverpool, England, and so we try to get back there every other year. It's been 4 years since we've been back there. So we're trying to get there as soon as we can. And I just love everything about touring the old buildings of architecture. It's funny, you go to England or Italy or Spain, and you don't really notice everything made out of stone until you're actually in the stone industry. But most of the streets, most of the sidewalks, most of the buildings are made out of stone. And it's really an eye-opener once you've been in the industry for a while to actually see just the beautiful architecture and just wonder how, thousands of years ago, some of these things were made. Like, how did they make, the Colosseum 2,000 years ago without really any technology or any tools? It just blows your mind.
Yeah. Good. Hey, a couple of specific questions. Let's talk first, very specific. What are some of the ordering challenges we have in natural stone for these folks' edification? What are the challenges, and what are some of your just quick tips on ordering natural stone?
So great question. So I think probably the most honest answer you can possibly give somebody when ordering natural stone is making sure that they understand that it's a natural product. It's, natural stone is going to have color variances. It's going to have texture variances. It's going to have thicknesses and weight variances. It's a natural product. It's something that Mother Nature controls. We don't control it. So, making sure that, the expectations are set right in the beginning, of understanding that it is a natural product. And, if you're looking for something to be all the same color, all the same texture, natural stone is probably not the best fit for that. But when it comes to ordering, I think all of us are, understanding, all you gotta do is read the paper, turn the TV on, all of the delays in manufactured products, lumber and windows. And, it's not to mention, it's nearly impossible to build in California anyways, but, we need to build, 10 million homes in the next 10 years. Obviously, that's not going to happen in California. But with all of these different rises in prices of lumbers and doors and windows, we actually haven't necessarily seen an increase in price in stone. But what has affected the pricing of stone is all of the ancillary things that cost us to get the stone, the fuel prices, the packaging prices, the pallet prices of wood. That all, takes a toll on our bottom line. So it's not the actual cost of the stone that's increasing; it's the cost of everything else, including the labor prices. Trying to find the proper workforce right now is very, very challenging. Just because, with all of the different unemployment benefits that are out there for people, a lot of people are choosing not to work at this time, and it's making it very, very difficult for us to, have the solid work crew that we need to fulfill the orders for the amount of business that we have coming in.
Great, thanks. So we've got just a precious few minutes left here. Let me give you one more question and see if you can give us your thoughts on that. Tell us about emerging trends, whether that be colors, patterns, something that you see that modern architects are calling for, and with a particular nod here to the West Coast.
So one thing I think that is, I don't think it's a trend, but I think it's a new style of natural stone that's coming to the market that I don't think is going to go away, is a lot of panelized type of products where, when we were talking about our cut stone capabilities, we see a lot of products that are like sawn on 6 sides with a texture put on it. There's quite a few projects that we've actually done in the Pebble Beach area that with our Fond du Lac material, where say they're doing a 12 by 24 panel of our Fond du Lac material that's sawn on all 6 sides, and then we put a texture on the face of the stone. It's a very kind of a contemporary type of a look, more of a modern look. And I don't think that's going anywhere. I think that's going to become more popular. The only issue is there is an expense to that. Anytime you put a diamond saw blade to natural stone, it's going to increase the price, where your veneer stone is all done with hydraulic splitters. And those machines will last forever, where diamond saw blades are obviously very expensive to replace. So I think the more contemporary panelized look is something that is going to keep coming, but it's a more expensive product, although it will install much quicker than a veneer stone, just because it installs more like a brick and it goes up really quickly. That'll offset some of the costs. And I think that's the big factor that people need to look at when people are specifying or ordering or trying to explain overall costs of a project. Installation means everything. Like I said, if it's 3 to 4 times the cost of the material, it's very seldomly that it's the material that is being value engineered out. It's generally the labor cost. If we can imagine, $40 to $50 a square foot to, put in natural stone, if they can do it quicker, obviously it's going to be less cost prohibitive for the homeowner.
We have a question from Diane. What is the coordination between Graniterock and Beuchel when we have a client interested? So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so if you know who your account manager is with Graniterock, just get in touch with them, and they will get in touch with us. And all of the different branches will have our pricing. So if it's something that's a standard product, they will have a pricing, and they can get you that real quickly. If it's more of a customized product, then something that we would need to quote, then we would just coordinate with that account manager at Graniterock to get them all the things that they need as far as lead times and timing and pricing, and then they can communicate with you, moving forward on how, when the product can be available.
Awesome, thanks.
Thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate your participation and hope it was of your liking. Please do not forget to take this session survey. Like I previously mentioned, it can be accessed through your Product Knowledge Seminar dashboard. We also hope to see you all here next week, Thursday, June 3rd, to further expand your knowledge on troubleshooting concrete problems. Our guest speaker will be Dave Ford from Quikrete. Same time as today, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Once again, I would like to thank Steve for taking time today to share his knowledge with us. Thank you, Keith, for helping facilitate. That concludes today's Product Knowledge Seminar. Be safe, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.